Let's see here. There she is. Okay. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
I'm live. I'm already live.
Oh, you're already live. Okay.
Woohoo! Look at all that pretty yumminess on your table.
Yep. I got a hint that I want to show you on how to make your um fibers, if they're a little bit cauted or something in the dye process, easier to spin.
Yeah, yeah. The draft, a little bit tips on drafting. Okay.
Well, this is to steam it.
Oh, oh, I
Um
see.
this part, hand was out here doing something. Now I've got little pieces of canvas all over my stuff. Um, this part has not been steamed, and this part has been. And you can see there's a difference in how fluffy it is.
I see. It's relaxed.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. You don't want to have it plugged in unless you're ready to use it. So I didn't have it plugged in advance because it takes a minute to get hot enough. When that light goes off, it's hot enough
Okay,
to use.
okay.
Hi, Teresa. Hi, Sana. Hi, Butter Roll Boutique. Glad you're all here. Anyway, the steam will help them relax. It also kind of adds that crimp back in a little bit.
Okay, okay.
Um, so okay. So what you do is, and I've got it steamed up to this point. So you just turn on your steamer.
Oh, sorry. Trying to get another device so I can see chat. Hi,
You have
girl.
to you have to shake it. Not I think that just helps it
Wiggle in there.
relax
Yeah, yeah.
as you're
Wi-
going.
Wiggle it in there.
Yeah, and you don't want to get. I mean, this is steam, so you don't want to get your hand in there.
It's hot, so it's you can steam your curtains while you're at it, right?
Sure, if you're close enough. Yeah, this is a steamer. We got to so Hannah could steam her clothes instead of iron them to get them
Yes,
ready to wear
yes,
for work.
yeah, yeah.
And but it just so happens it works for this too. So we got get double use out of it.
So I'm anxious to get started on Joe put it on a board last night
All right.
with a little twitchy thing on the back. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. And he stapled it down all over, buddy. He went down in between the tongs and stapled it too. he,
Oh well, you
he's an overachiever, you know.
yeah. Well, it's too late now, but you really want to leave that in the middle loose and just
Yeah,
staple it around the edges.
yeah,
But maybe staples won't bother it the way glue would. But if you glue that fabric down,
yes.
then those tines can't move. They can't, and they end up breaking or bending
I see.
because it needs
It,
to
it
have some
it
ability to
hardens the
move.
rubber on the back or something. Yeah, yeah. Well, there's nothing I can do about it right now.
No, but hopefully just staples won't do that because
But
it,
he
you
went
know,
all around the perimeter, and it is a 12 by 12 piece. And he put it on a board. It looked like an old table dresser type board. It was finished on one side, and then he made me a hinge with a foot on the hinge that
all right. Well, I can't
folds
wait to look
out.
at it.
So I think it's just about right. And I watched that little video I sent you last night, and I watched
Yeah.
it over a couple times. And she had her hinge. She liked it below the halfway mark at that angle, and I did the same thing. So I think it's going to be a fine thing. And I'm anxious to get started on carding. And she used a paintbrush to help smooth down some of her fibers. And
Yeah, I
I had,
did that when I first got it, before I
yeah,
had the fancy kitty brush.
yeah,
And sometimes you can even do it, use them both. Use the paintbrush to just kind of tuck them in, and then the fancy
yeah,
kitty brush to really get them packed.
right. That's what I figured. But I do have I happen to have a paintbrush in my room, so that'll work if I want to try it. And of course, I'm not. I don't mind to touch it. I'm not afraid to
Okay, you
touch
can go
it.
back to both of us now, or make yourself big so you can show me that or whatever. I'm finished
And
steaming this piece.
I also some of the I guess I can call it a war wound. I did puncture myself with these things.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, and I think three of them went in, and boy, they're like needles. And of course, it didn't stay, and it didn't hurt very long afterwards. But it went through the skin, but it almost drawed blood.
Yeah,
I got blood, so they are super super sharp. And but here's the board. It's like a dresser type top piece of wood. It's
yeah,
finished on this side, and then the hinge. He's got this long hinged. Uh, I don't know what kind of hinge you would call that.
piano hinge, I think's what that's called.
It's real long. You know, it's got six screws in it, so it's not going anywhere. And it goes up and down. And then he's going to put me a handle. I think I'm going to get a piece of leather and make a handle on top of the wood.
Yeah,
So, and then I think I want to try to find a box of this size to store it in because it's such a sharpie.
yeah, that's probably a good idea. I just
And
store mine with a piece of leather thrown over the top of it.
well, yeah, or yeah, he said, oh, I've got an old uh, computer case out there. We could put it in there. And I said, well, it would just tear it up on the inside if it's like a silky on the inside. I said, well, I can look at it. I can look at it. I wasn't going to. He was trying to help. He was trying to be helpful.
Yes. Hi,
And
Sherry.
he was finishing this up at midnight last night for me. And of course, we stay up
He's a
late.
good man. I'm glad you got him.
He is he is so sweet. He tries to please me so much, too much. So I've got a whole bunch of wool over here. Let's see if I can show you all my wool without making you too dizzy. I'm so happy with the what I've got on my in the wool department. I don't have a craft lynch here. Right here is all the wool that I'm going to try to use most of the blues, and I've got some real pretty um, blue greens that I'm going to be using in this colag thing.
Yeah.
And there's my spinning wheel as we speak. So we're going to be trying to spin a little bit today and see if we can't do better with the spinning this week.
Well, I hope so. Well, I've
Uh,
got this. Uh, this is that bat, that rainbow bat. Made a video. I can't remember when it's coming out. Sometime this next week. Um, where I show all the different ways that you can spin it and what worked and didn't work for me. Hi, Mindy. Anyway, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to spin this today, and I'll spin this later. But um,
finish spinning that one, yeah.
yeah, I haven't spun on this one in 2 years. I got it this far, and that's far as we got. So I decided
Okay.
I better get it out and get busy with it.
Those are my colors. That's what I like. Those blues and greens.
Yeah, me too.
Uh, when I lived up north, uh, my living room, it was everything in my house was like roses, burgundy, and and hunter green, and those colors. And I did a really good job in my living room. It was very pretty uh, with the decor. And then I come down here and I'm switched to switched to pool blue and beachy stuff. And uh, and I thought,
Yeah,
well,
different inspiration.
I might be making a mistake, but I don't think you can make a mistake. I think you change your mind. You know, you get tired of
Yeah,
things.
that's it. You just change your mind. Well, and different times in your life, you've got different ideas of what you want. So
Yeah, and this is just where I live. So, but I still have my old couch, which was brown. It's got a hint of olive in it, an olive green, but it's a brown couch, and I bought it up there. But it's a lazy boy couches. They match, and I love the couches. But Joe has broken his couch down where he sits. It's broken. The springs are broken, and he put in a board underneath the cushions, and I can't sit on it. It's just way too hard. It's a Papa Bear's couch, and then my couch is fine, but the fabric is northern fabric, wool. It's a not wool but corduroy type, and it's hot.
oh
So
yeah.
it's down here. I have to put a sheet down or something cottonish to accommodate my my temperature down here. I can't. Yeah, I can't go
Hi
that.
Janet. Hi Barbara.
Hi, girls.
We're so glad y'all are all here.
Sherry and Mindy and Janet and Barbara. Good to see you guys. Glad you come in Sunday afternoon to visit with us. Janet Burgess, I opened up your beautiful Happy Mail last night, and I love my three envelope pocketbook. I love it. She sent me a pretty, pretty, pretty thing. Very pretty. And all of the goodies inside of it. I bragged about it at the beginning of the show last night. You need to go back and see it. So I'm just carding. I'm painting my carding board. That that would be correct. I think that's what they call it. They
A
paint it,
blending board.
blending board,
Yeah.
and and you paint it. Thank you. Oh, she watched it. Okay. I've got some pretty fantastic followers that hang out in my room.
That is true.
They like my goofiness. I don't understand, but that's okay. But they like seeing me do stuff. And I do a variety. I do such a variety. I think that's what keeps it interesting. And I tried to do diamond painting, but I can't sit still that long.
Yeah.
Not in front of the camera. I feel like I need to be doing something and showing you how to do something. And I love to show and tell. Well, Mindy, right now, um, Lisa is spinning some roving wool that's a blend of blue greens. It's and she's spinning it on a electric spinning wheel, and she's got several spinning wheels, and I am just combing out some wool so that I can make a rolag. Always interesting. Yes, Janet, it is.
this let me just park this so I can show you. This is something that I dyed um in
In your very own bathtub.
well, on my stove.
On your stove, okay.
Yeah, because you need good amount of heat for wool, and different colors strike at a different heat setting. So um, blue strikes real fast. Red takes a while. No, it's the other way around. The red strikes faster. I didn't have any red in this, but if you have like that's why purples will break and go blue and have some purple, some blue, and some pink is because the pinks and reds um, strike at a lower temperature and almost immediately, whereas blues take longer and greens take longer and they take more heat. Um, anyway, if anybody's dying, that might be something that was important to know.
She's got a piece of continuous roving wool that it came that way in one long strip from the
Yes,
factory. I've got roving wool here, um, just like that, just a different color, and I'm blending it on a this needle board. It's got all kinds of little needles on it to drag my wool on, and I can blend several colors together. Then I'm going to roll it off of here with a knitting needle, and it's going to come off, and it's going to be called a rolag, and that's a blend of fibers all rolled up, and then I'm going to be able to take the end of it and pull little bits off of it to spin on the spinning wheel. That's my goal.
Mindy, you can use a diz and take your fibers off that blending board. Just and you can do it on a drum carder too, and make roving as you're pulling it off the board. You can do that.
Yeah,
So then it would look something like this, but the way she's going to spin it, it won't look anything like this.
it's going to be a variety. It's going to be party yarn. It's going to look like a party.
It'll look like a party.
It's going to be mixed shades, shades of blue. That's my goal.
Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, blues and greens are my favorites. So I've got a lot of stuff that's in blue and green. I'm trying to remember if I already have one full bobbin, and this was the second one. I have to go look because I've got my full bobbins stashed somewhere in the house. Um, I have several things that just need to be plied that I've spun them. They just need to be plied, and so this may be one that I already have one bobbin full, and that's why I just quit. I got tired of it by the time I got part way through this bobbin. You want to watch me struggle to spin, you'll watch that video when it comes out where I'm spinning that bat several different ways. Because some of that was a real struggle. And that I talk about it in the video, but part of the problem is that I made that bat out of mill ends. So it was all different kinds of wools and different kinds of fibers. And they don't like to they don't have the same amount of grippiness or smoothness, and they don't like to draft the same or anything. And so it was interesting.
Well,
I think it's
anytime I
still
think
going to be a fun yarn, but it's
yeah, anytime you mix yarns from different batches, you're getting different yarns from different sheep, and even though they're the same kind of sheep, sometimes the hair is not the same. It's the
That's true.
same
But
thing.
these were all different kinds of sheep too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
And
and that makes it even more.
it's like uh, my sister and I have
They don't
straight,
play well together. That's right, Mindy.
straight, fine hair, and then I have a brother that has nice curly hair, and we wanted his curls when we were little, when we were young. We were we were loving his curls.
It didn't seem quite fair, did it?
No, it didn't. But uh, we had a grandmother that had curly hair, and she was a redhead. But Scott was not a redhead, but he got the curly hair. He was cute when he was in high school. He had all those curls. The girls just oohed all over him.
I bet.
They did.
I'm gonna have to pause a minute. My hand is cramping. Why don't you make yourself big and we can see better while I'm
Okay.
resting?
Should I go ahead and try to put my brush to it now?
I would, yeah.
The paintbrush works real good. Let's see what I do. Here it is. And I uh, the, the the carding machine that Lisa has, and she did a video with the carding machine, and she rolled it, and they had these big drum rolls on it, and those machines are expensive. They're like $200 and $300 a piece, and so I decided that I probably wouldn't be doing that much carding on the drum roll, and so I said, maybe I just need the board, and this is a board. This is the board. Now I could have bought it already made up and with a handle on it and everything. It would have been about $85 that I priced these boards at. But I went to the website where they make these these needle things. They're called carding fabric or something, but it's not fabric. They're rubber. It's on a rubber, and this factory makes all of these for all of the people who makes the carding machines, and he sells to all of those people. So he's got a really good business, and it comes in all shapes, sizes, lengths. You can get just about anything you want. And
One
so
thing I'll recommend
yeah,
is let your tails hang off the bottom
okay,
because that's what you're going to use to help roll it up.
okay.
So don't take them off.
Don't take off. I'm just taking the ones that are going down to my knees.
Yeah, but
But
you're
I
going to
got
want a couple of inches hanging
right.
off there.
Okay. Okay, I will. But I got my pokey sheet for $45. It's $45 a foot. And so it was still, and then Joe made the back of it and off of some wood. He put it on the wood for me that he had in the garage, and he put me this little foot on it to lean it up so it stands up by itself. And of course, I've got tons of things on my desk. Here's here's Janet's little book she sent me.
Oh, that's cute.
She did a beautiful job on it. I love it. I'll show it off again tonight when I stream. Uh, but anyway, this is my board, and it fits just barely fits right here on my desk, so I can put some more fibers on it. So yeah, and I love just doing this part. This is fun for me.
It is fun. I
It,
agree.
it's relaxing. It's easy. And you're just doing the same thing over and over. I love doing the same thing over and over. I, uh, I took a job uh, uh, aptitude test or something where they try to figure out what you'd be good at, And
Yeah.
I was so good with all the putting the pegs in the holes, and so fast with all of the different designs that you had to put in the right holes and the right shapes. I was so fast at that. They said, "Oh, you're definitely going to be uh, factory. You would work in an assembly line very well." They said, "Very well. That's where you need to go." And and I don't even think they told me what else I was good at. They just told me that. And surely I was good at more than that, because I did have, uh, I didn't graduate from college, but I had 3 years, and that's got to account for something. I would think.
Well, it depends on the test because some of those tests, they're just going to give you like one recommendation based on what they think you did the best at.
Yes, that's
You
what they
know, I
did.
know when I was in high school, I took one that was put out by the Air Force,
Yeah,
and I did so good with all the how the gears work and answering all the questions about how that, and I was just going by just using what seemed logical. I didn't really know anything about it. I was just guessing what
yeah,
seemed
yeah.
logical, but they decided I would make a great airplane mechanic.
Well, of course, all of the service people want you to
I was
sign
like,
up.
yeah, no, I would have to go somewhere else to do that. I just thought it was hilarious.
But
One of my friends, he and I were always kind of seeing who got the best grades on this or that.
yeah, yeah.
And his score wasn't nearly as good as mine. They decided he should be a secretary, and he was very offended. He's like, "How could you answer
Ooh,
those questions better than me? I'm a guy, like that's supposed to be all it takes."
I'm
I said,
smart.
"Well, I just answered it logically. You probably tried too hard."
That's true. I think, Joe, I grew up, we didn't have a farm, but we did have quite a bit of land. So it was semi farm. We call it a city farm because we were just 3 miles from the city. And we had, we lived on the river. So we had lots of places to run and play and do different things. And and I watched my daddy in the garage all the time. I mean, if he was, whatever he was doing, fixing the a wheel, fixing the lawnmower, working on the tool bench, fixing the, working, doing stuff. And Joe is amazed of all of the medical, like, or mechanical things that I,
That
I
you
can
know,
answer. I can answer the,
yeah,
and I know what it's called, and I know what the the tool is called and stuff like that. And he's like, he says, all that, and I mean, to this day, he'll be watching somebody fixing rebuilding a car or something, and I said, well, they need to look at the brake shoe or look at the rotor, and, and he looks at me like, you shouldn't know that kind of stuff. Even today, he's in awe of all
he
of the,
forgets about how you were raised.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
You can go ahead and put me back up if you want to. I'm spinning
yes,
again,
yes,
so we
thank
can
you.
both be on there. But
You just tell me, honey. I'm easy. There you go. Um so but yeah, you know, and a lot of times I'll tell Joe how to fix things and how to do things, and I'm trying to tell him how to do it and explain it, and he's not listening to me, and he's not catching my drift. And then when he does figure it out a long time later, I said, I told you, you wouldn't listen to me. But I have an eye. I have a good eye. I'm good at puzzles, and pieces and putting things together. I'm good at it, and I think that's part of uh, my benefits, and that's probably why I'm good at crafts. I watched my mother. My mother was an art teacher, majored in art in college, and she was a elementary school teacher for 35 years, And I watched her do bulletin boards and craft projects and table decorations and decor door decorations and all my life, and that's why I like to do all that stuff because I watched my mom do it,
Yeah.
and it just I'm part of her. Yeah, this cat. I think this is a dog brush.
Yeah, I think
Got
it
it from the
is.
Dollar Tree, and the tines of it go down. They go down, and the tines of this one go up, and together they card. So hitting something. I think I'll have Joe take the my little foot and flatten it so that it's flat and not on the edge when I put it up. It has a edge to it.
Hi, Pam. Good to see you.
Hi Pam. Hi everybody. We're just having fun with our wool today,
We're
playing with our wools.
having fiber fun day instead of paper
Yeah,
fun day.
a Sunday afternoon wool party. And I think you sent me this little bit of wool.
Yep, that's alpaca.
Well, it's going in the batch.
Alrighty.
It's a
That's
little.
alpaca. That's the only time I've ever dyed alpaca.
Oh, this is beautiful. It's a little tiny roving wool.
Yeah,
It's
it's because I stripped it down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, it kind of felted when I dyed it,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I stripped it down to make it easier to spin. And I had a ton of it, so I spun a bunch of it, and then I put it in those boxes.
Well, sure. So this is going to give little sprigs of
This is
alpaca.
what I got so far.
That's beautiful. Okay. This is navy, real dark navy. Need to put some lighter in there. I got my wool for I think 240 an ounce, uh, or for 4 ounces for 240. So or was it 140? I forgot already.
If you got 4 ounces of wool for $2.40, you got a
No,
great
I
deal.
got 1 ounce, 1 ounce, and
Oh,
I
okay.
ordered 2 ounces of each.
Oh, okay.
This is two
I see what
ounces,
you're saying now.
and I got it 1 ounce for 280, and that was the cheapest that I could find when I was looking the other day. So I went ahead and bought a whole bunch of blues. I was completely out of my blues. So
Well, blues are important.
I know
I
I'm gonna
have
put.
no idea, Mindy. You know how I am. I just spin something because I think it's pretty and I want to spin it, and then I figure out what I'm going to do with it later. I do, I do plan to do some intentional spinning, like for a cardigan or something like that, but I just haven't gotten there yet. Hi, Kellyanne. Oh,
How do
thank
you?
you. This is um I'm trying to remember what kind of fiber it is, and I don't remember what kind of fiber it is. I want to say it's no, I'm not going to say because I don't remember. But anyway, it's a fairly soft wool. It's not as soft as merino, but it's softer than but it's still a really pretty soft wool. But I just dyed it in a I can't I think this one I m- laid down the roving, I mean the top in a continuous thing and then dyed it with different colors there. Sometimes I just put it in a just make a wad of it, put a wad of it in a big pot of water and do an immersion dye. Hi, Angela. Good to see you. That's pretty.
This is a special blend, and it's like blueberry or something berry.
Yeah, that's a true roving. Those other ones are top, but that one is a true
Yeah.
roving.
Okay. Okay. Um,
You can tell because all of them are not lined up going the same direction.
right. And this has got like five different
Yeah,
shades
that's
in it,
pretty.
and that little bit of pink just. So maybe you see, I was trying to spin the top roving, the top, the other day, last week. So maybe I need to spin something like this to
It
do a
would
better twist.
well, the twist has to do with how how fast your spinning wheel is going versus your hands. Um, you have to let the twist and how close you are to the orifice because
Yes.
it gets a lot of its spin from here to here, you know.
So I need to back
Um,
up. Okay.
so yeah, you need to be, you know, this is a I don't spin this close except when I'm on on a video.
On
And
TV,
even
yeah.
now I'd really rather be a little further away. But in my chair,
You want everybody to see what you're doing, yeah.
I'm about, you know, this far away as I spin it, probably about 18 inches away.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that's how I used to spin my spinning wheel was about 18 inches away. Um, but you have to let the twist build up in it and then work your way out to that distance.
I would be spinning about this much, and then it would break, and I'd have to
Yeah,
touch it again. And I was getting
frustrated.
tired of that. Just wanted it to go, go, go.
Yeah, well,
But
it takes
again, I
practice.
just need the practice, and so this is good. I love doing this. I'll just be making a whole bunch of collags for a while before before I ever learn how to spin.
And what are you calling those?
Collags.
Colags?
What do you call them when you roll them up?
Rolags.
Rollags. Okay.
Well,
Well,
Rolags are really technically what you make on hand cards, and they're little, um, you
tough.
know, small amounts.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I call when I pull it off of that and I use the whole thing as
yeah.
one, I call it a roll log because it's
A
thicker
roll log.
and
Okay.
bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but Rolag is a it's one of those terms that meant something very specific when it was coined, and now we use it for anything that's rolled up, just about.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
a poonie, um, poonies were always cotton.
Okay.
That's where the term was. It was a cotton rolag, except they're very, very tightly rolled, but and they're thinner, you know, skinnier than a rolag.
Okay.
And so when I make rolags off of that board, and I make 3 or 4 of them off, you know, off of one coating. You know, you put it on there and then you take it off in like 3 or 4 pieces, so you're making
Yeah.
3 or 4 Rolags. I
Okay.
call them Poonie Rolags because 'cause they're real skinny, because
Now
they're not really
you.
a Rolag and they're not really a Poonie, so
I'd be calling it puny.
puny Rolags.
But Yeah, and
Hi,
uh,
Chris.
I definitely don't use the correct terminology, or I try to anyway. And
It's okay. And I'm not. I mean, you can use whatever terms you want, but I'm
yeah,
just trying
yeah.
to help you know
Well,
what
I
what
think I
what
was
it is.
called it colag because you're binding, coordinating strands together, making a, like a co-partner,
Yeah.
and I was calling them colag, using my English definition for it. But
Well, a colag can just be a Bethism.
it is, and you know that I like to do that. Chris, how did your stream go this morning? I wasn't up. She streamed early this morning. She's she can do everything. That Chris. But she was on the stream last night with me for a little bit. Her and Dana.
Yeah. Well, I
And
kept thinking I was going to make it over, and I think about the time I got over there, you were done.
yeah, that
Like,
happens
well,
a lot. That's all
yeah,
right. That's just no big deal. Uh, that's what the replays are for in
that's
my
right.
book. I try to watch everybody a little bit till I get distracted. If I'm in here in the room in this room, I get distracted real easy. I'm always doing something. Oh, and Dana, of course, I'll be on. I think Dana will be on with me again tonight. Um, but Dana streams is going to stream on Wednesday at 4:30 in the afternoon, and
Uh huh.
and we are going to be doing journaling by fives,
Oh, cool.
and that's fun. That is real fun. Super, super fun. If you all don't know what journaling by five is, you're in for a treat.
It is fun.
And I watched Shannon Green, who made the game up, and I watched her video again, and it wasn't the very first one that she did. It was a replay of or another time, and she played it by herself and filmed it, and I watched it. It was fun.
She's just fun to watch, period.
She is. She's very entertaining.
She is. She has a great sense of humor.
Like, I don't know why that's there. It's just there. It's going there. And there it goes.
Yep.
And she was a great example because she used herself as the example of how to break a white page, how to get over that, putting something down first. She uh, she was the perfect example because she had a hard time doing it herself. Overthinking.
Oh, on Wednesday, Barbara,
Yeah,
on
we're going.
Dana's channel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Now Thursday I'll be on at my regular time at 6 on Thursday. But Wednesday afternoon is when Dana streams journaling by 5. And if it's a hit, and if Dana wants to play it again, I'd play it again. Yeah, and I've done it on my channel before, and I've done it. Have I done it with you, Lisa? I've done it
Yep,
with
we
Tanya.
did it. Uh huh.
Did it with Tanya and you. and and then Shannon got wind of it, and she came into the chat room, and we
Yep.
all got starstruck. Oh my gosh, Shayna's here! Oh my gosh, that was so funny. But I think, well, it probably got out. If I had to guess, maybe through Dee Dee, somebody might have said it in there, and that because I'm sure that Shannon watches Dee Dee,
Yeah.
and uh, and then
Well, we
she
talked about it, in streams for quite a while beforehand that we were going to do
yeah,
it.
we
So,
advertised it, and but I don't think she watches me on a anytime on a like on a regular basis or anything, so she won't hear about it. But it'll be on Dana's channel. Now Dana used to stream uh, a few years ago. I don't know what or how or exactly, you know, and she's trying to build her channel up now. And I've been, having her on with me, trying to help her out get started. And we just started hanging out together and we still hanging.
that's good.
And that happens sometimes.
It does.
You find friends to stream with. And,
That's
and,
kind of how Tanya and I did. We decided we would do it once, and then we were like, okay, this is really fun. Let's keep going.
yeah, and you've been friends ever since. And um, and you and Tanya, or at least Tanya, I think you all started about a year before me. You all were already on when I
Yeah, we
came around.
started in January of 2018.
Yep, and I came on spring of 19. And but when I was watching you guys, I never, of course, I didn't know anything about YouTube until the year we moved down here to Florida, and I accidentally found it just because I was bored and surfing channels, and I found YouTube, and I go, what? Or I found UStream, and I go, what's UStream? And I found Dee Dee, and I go, oh my gosh, where have I been all these years to not know about this?
Yeah, I didn't know about Ustream either until I found somebody said, I think Dee Dee posted I don't know if she posted something or if someone else did on YouTube and said that she did live streams on Ustream and you could get an account and go over and watch. And I was like, okay, so I did. So I watched her over there until she you know, came over to YouTube.
um,
But I think there are a lot of us who've been inspired by her. She
that very week that I found Dee Dee and Ustream was the same week that Ustream quit and everybody went over to YouTube. I was so mad because I had done the Ustream and it was all new to me, all Greek, didn't understand half of what I was doing. And it took me forever to get over there. And I was trying to find all the girls who streamed and make a schedule out so I could watch them because I enjoyed the live portion of it.
yeah.
And that's when she switched over to YouTube, and I thought, "Oh man, I hate this." And that's why I remember it so well.
Yeah.
And of course YouTube was a lot easier, and YouTube was fine. And
Hi, Miss.
hi, Nez. How do you do? Thanks for coming in, Nez. Um, so I think I better get back to some blue.
How
Blue,
much room do you still have on there on your
a
times?
lot, a lot. I've been putting it on real thin.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to spin.
I hope so. And then this is another one of those blends, like that bubblegum one. And this is all greens and blues, and it's roving, a blend of. They called it something. It had a name to it, but I'm gonna put some of this on. Get some blue greens in there.
Well, yeah, you need some blue greens in there.
But I love doing this. Love it.
Thanks, Ned.
That looks good in there. I'll tell you one thing. I need to quit touching it with the palm of my hand. The needles are going to rub me raw.
Yeah, but it's so kind of instinctive to want to pet it.
Well, I hold it too hard, and I don't have to. It's not going anywhere. I just need to
Oh, yeah.
hold it that it doesn't tilt tilt the wrong way. And I'm too aggressive. That's what it is. And here's another one of those roving blends of dark, and you probably would love this one.
Yeah, I do love it.
We ought to do a trade. We could do. I've got some of your yarn. I need to send you some of mine, my
Well,
wool.
I would spin it.
But it this came from uh, more Mohair and More company, and this new stuff that I'm using today came from a place called uh, Acorns and Twigs.
Oh, that's cute.
Acorns and Twigs, and I think it's up in Indiana somewhere.
Teresa, I don't know what I'm going to do with my yarn. Um, I I get asked that a lot, and I never know. Now I did just pull out 3 skeins of yarn to put in a basket that our weaving guild is sending to the state conference, and we're doing a knitting basket, and so I put 3 skeins of my hand spun yarn
Oh, that's
um,
neat.
that would go together that you could use together. One of them is, a lot of colors and silk and stuff, and one of the colors is brown, and then um, the the other one is brown, and then the other one is well, I can't remember what the other one was. Anyway,
Some kind of wool.
some kind of wool, yeah.
I like it that you love fibers so much, and I love it that you were even in a survey thing where you uh, re, judged different types of wool. They sent you samples, and you judged the color and stuff. Remember that? Uh, it was kind of like a survey thing, or I
Well,
don't know.
I ordered samples of different breeds
Yeah,
and did a breed study,
a
and it
breed
was the
study.
shave them to save them um,
Yeah.
thing where you get stuff from sheep that people don't normally use as spinning sheep, or sheep that are endangered,
Uh huh.
and they're
Okay.
trying to save them, so they're giving them a reason for being around, which is to have spinners spin their wool.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what the shave them to save them program is. And so I probably still have 6 or 7 at least more breeds in that I need to get on the ball and do um work on that breed study. I just
Yeah,
haven't
because
been
you
in the
filled
mood to
out a
do it.
form for them. Each one had
Yeah,
a form,
had
and
samples and all of
but
that
I thought
stuff.
that
Yeah.
was interesting, because that just goes to show you how dedicated you are to just wool fibers. And I just thought it was fun, and it was a participation thing.
Yeah, I've got
And
my book down here. I'll show a little bit of it so they can see what you're talking about.
and but that's interesting. Uh,
Well, I thought it was
I
down
was
here.
talking about saving breeds. I was watching the other night a horse channel, and it was a horse rescue facility, and they would go to these horse auctions where they auction off these horses to uh I guess companies that would use the horse in like dog food or stuff, and they would buy as many horses as they could afford, and bring the horses back to the shelter. It was just, and they were saving horses, and they got 24 the other night from an auction, and they were real happy. Oh no, they ended up with 25. They got 25, and out of the 25, three of them could not be saved. They It was something that their hoof was non-repairable, where the parts of the inside of the foot were gone, the cartilage and the frog was gone, and it was totally impossible to save the horse, because you can't, they can't survive. A three-legged horse can't survive, and uh, and they had to, euthanize it. But they put these three horses out in the fields, in this pretty field, and they were going to let them sit. They were going to let them graze and enjoy themselves in this beautiful field, and keep them pain free. These were horses that were on pain medicine. They were hurting so bad, and then they would euthanize them. But they were able to save all of the rest of the horses, and put them in therapy. They each one had their own cases, and they each one, uh, had a treatment plan.
Yeah.
Special diet or special care or whatever they needed, and they were able to save them. And then they sell these horses to people who want a horse, and depending on the type of what you need. If you want a walking horse that doesn't have that where you're not going to be running through the fields, then they probably have the horse for you that can't do the running, but it can do the walking and would enjoy the care that you can provide for it. And they would match up a person personally to a horse that would fit you. And it was so fun to watch them. Of course, I like medical shows anyway. Uh, any kind of medical show, whether it's human or animals, I enjoy uh, them helping people or helping animals get better and stuff. But it's kind of like that. You're saving the sheep from slaughters, uh,
Yeah.
so that they'll use them for the wool.
Well, and to encourage people to go ahead and breed them,
Yeah, too. Yeah, don't be
Anyway,
shy.
I can't find the book. I must have taken it in the house and it didn't get back out here. And I don't,
Yeah.
in my
Okay.
brain, I cannot think of where I would have put it in there. So I'm not even going to go look for it. But um, anyway, I do have in my, I have a breed study playlist. So if you're
Okay.
interested in breed studies, you can go look at that breed study playlist and you can see what she's talking about.
Well, that's interesting. Uh, and uh, I've I probably could very easily. We have a mill, a fiber mill, close to where I live in my town,
Oh, you lucky thing.
and I've been over there 3 times since I've been down here, and I've taken people. He'll give you a little mini tour of the place. It's just one big room, but it's like a I don't know, 10-car garage size building, but it's
Yeah.
all open, it's all open. And he's got all kinds of stuff on the walls where he'll do like horse blankets and big blankets, things like that you would use for camping or for farming and
Right.
stuff.
And you can
And
use wools to make those that people wouldn't want
uh,
to wear.
this was industrial for. industrial padding type stuff. And that's what you do with all the leftovers that nobody wants, and they were
Right.
wet belted too. But he's got these big giant weavers in there, and I ought to go and do a little tour, and then I can post upload it. That would be
That would
fun.
be good. Yeah.
And
One of the girls in my guild weaves horse blankets.
yes,
Um, and so she, and they're really pretty. She does a good
right.
job.
Uh, uh, but he's local. He's born and bred down here, and he'll take anybody's wool. If you had wool, if you had a llama farm or a sheep farm or whatever, he'll take your fibers, and he'll clean it and spin it into yarn, whatever you request. And he's got all the machines to do it in, and it's a big assembly line. And he's probably got, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 people working for him.
Hey,
Uh,
Margie.
that
I didn't see you come in, but I see people saying hi to you. Glad you're here.
Hi, Margie. Margie's Crafty Corner. Welcome. We're playing with our wool today, but he took me around to every machine, and of course I can't remember all the names of stuff. And he's got this one closet where it flies, everything flies in the closet, and then they gather it up, and that's what the probably this stuff
Is that
is.
the picking machine or
Yes, yeah, different picking machines.
yeah,
And before
it
it
just kind
actually
of
goes,
picks it and shoots it in there.
yeah, uh, and all of the things that fall out are the vegetable matter and things that fall down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh,
Or a
it's
tumbler. I
it's
don't know. They
so
get called
different.
different things from different.
Yeah, he had 4 or 5 different machines that the wool went through before it actually became a piece of thread.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Well, you've got to pick it, and then you've got to card it, and then you've got to draft it, and
yes,
then you've got to, there's another machine after the first draft that does another draft, and then
exactly.
you finally get to spin it.
Yeah.
So
And it's
it's a lot like it's an industrial version of what I do. Um,
absolutely. And he
and it's
spins
really
it
cool to watch those videos.
and does the 1 ply, and then he's got another machine where he actually does the 3 or 4 ply, or I think he can do up to 6 plies or so,
Yeah.
uh, whatever you want to use it for. And of course, if you want it dyed a particular shade, you pick your colors out, and he does all that. So beautiful work, handwork, beautiful. And being a hometown local yokel crafter, it's a lost, it's a lost, not completely forgotten, but it's not an art that people do all the time as on a daily basis anymore. It's a
That's true.
hobby. It's more of a hobby, but he's doing it as a living, and he liked it. He liked it. He knew everything about it, and he enjoyed me coming. And I said, because when I first called him, I said, well, what do you do at your mill, when I found it? And of course, he tried to tell me, and I said, well, I have some girlfriends that are coming to town, and would it be okay if we came to see your mill? And he said, sure, I'll give you a tour, a free tour. And then he had a little area where you could buy stuff. And
Yeah.
and that's where I saw my first felting sewing machine. You can get a sewing machine with the felting needle on it, and you put your fibers underneath it, and it felts it for you like a sewing machine, and it's a freestyle, and you go
Oh,
around
that's
it like
awesome.
this. Yeah. uh, but uh, but I do my felting by hand, as on purpose, because I like to do it,
Yeah.
and I don't make too many things. uh, I just I'm just hobbying, I am. I'm a hobbyist. I don't sell or anything. But he goes to all of the local craft shows around here, and down at the beach. down here, there's a lot of craft shows in every little town,
Yeah, because
and
that's
he
what
just
tourists want to see.
yeah, they want to see all these little local things, and there's a lot of pottery stuff and stuff like that too down here as well. Well, I'm going to put just a little bit more of the lighter blue on here and see if I can't roll this
And it
up.
says she has one, but she can't find needles for it.
Oh, well, I'll see if I can't find them for you and shoot you. And of course, she's up in Canada, but it doesn't matter. If I can find them on a website, they can mail them to you. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can't find you some sewing machine felting needles. Yeah, they might be called something different, for all I know. But I did use his, briefly for a minute or two, just to see what it felt like. He said, "Try it out, try it out." He wanted us to try it out and do it, but I was the only one interested in the felting part. Yep, my hand's gonna be sore right there.
Yeah.
It's already sore. I'll switch hands.
It's not as easy to switch hands as it seems like it should be.
Yeah, I can't felt with my left hand. Definitely not coordinated.
She says she let the grandgirls use them and they broke them.
Yeah, yeah, you have to be careful with those needles. Uh, yeah, when I was
Oh,
starting.
Kellyanne ordered a little bumblebee felting kit.
Oh,
It's supposed
good.
to be in her mailbox by the 22nd. So, yay. I
Well,
hope
since
it
I've been
is.
doing fibers, I'll do some felting in my room too. I do a lot of cookie cutter felting projects, and and of course I do have my some of my other felting. This is wet felting, and this is the colors I was trying to get to, but I'm not getting there.
And
But
one
this
cool thing about your
is a
board
bag. It's a bag.
is if you pull that off in a bat, then you've got all your layers and stuff that you can do for your felting base,
Yes,
and you
yes,
can, wet felt it or whatever.
yeah.
I
But this
haven't
is
tried that, but I've seen other people do it.
I just need to put a strap on it, and it's a little bag, and that was wet felted. And let me find some more of that shade. I don't have any of that turquoisey. Thought I had some more green over here. I could try this one.
It's funny how some colors make the fibers feel different.
Yeah,
This
yeah, they
kind of
do.
olive color that I was just working with, it doesn't slide as easy. It's weird how it changes the wool. Something in that color because it was all done in, together, but you could tell different colors spin easier or less easy. I never would have expected that because you rinse it out and wash it and everything. You'd think it would all,
Yeah, you
but it's
do. Um, that the video that I sent you yesterday, that little girl, I can't remember her name.
Jillian Eve.
Is that her name? Okay.
I think that's who it was. I
She's
didn't.
got
I haven't watched it, but I think Jillian is who
okay.
that
Well,
was.
she's such a sweet little girl, and she always she does a lot of spinning and crocheting and everything, knitting and
Yeah,
stuff. Well, she I watched another one of her videos where she had some ecru collar sheep roving wool, and she was going to collar it with Easter eggs dyes,
Uh-huh.
and she did.
Yep, I've
And
done that. And
and
food coloring, you can use food coloring.
yes, and she used those little tablets, and she had two batches of these deep dish cooking pans that you can find a commercial size, and
Uh-huh.
she put the wool and some in warm water, and then she just dropped down the Easter egg tablets every 6 inches. She put the tablets down, and she put like blue and yellow to next door, so that if they did merge, it would be a green, that type of thing.
Right.
And
Now that I have never done it. I always made a liquid out of the tablets before I
yep,
used it,
no,
but that
she
would sounds like fun. I'll have to go look for that
she did,
video.
and she had to let it soak overnight, because she said uh, before it was over, all of that wool was going to end up taking in all of the color, and there should be no color in the water when she got done.
That's
And
right.
the water was clear when she got finished, very little color left. And
Yeah. If
she took a spoon and went down to the bottom of the pan, and just pulled it over to the side, and there was you could see clear. It was clear all the way to the bottom of the pan, and that meant the wool uptaked all of the color, took all the color, and
right.
it was so interesting. I learned so much.
It is. It's really interesting. All the different. There are so many ways you can dye wool. It's amazing, and a lot of the other fabrics. I mean, like the bamboos and the rose milks and the tinsel and the all those things. They can be dyed too, but they have to be dyed different from wool because they're well, some things I think nylon you can dye just like wool,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of things you dye them like you would dye cotton
Okay.
because cellulose fibers are different. And ultimately, a lot of those things are cellulose fibers of one sort or another.
Okay. Now, do you want me to start at the top or down to bottom?
At the bottom, that's why you left the tails.
Okay. So let's see if I can roll this up. I got a dowel rod here, so I'm going to try to flip
You'll
these
need two.
tails.
Do you have two?
I can get
Well, no,
two.
you can probably do it on two of them. That way you can trap the tails in and then just turn it.
Gotcha.
It just makes it easier if you
Okay.
have two.
All right. I got a real long paintbrush here. So,
Okay. Put the longest one underneath.
okay. So that's fine. Gotcha. I'm curling my yarn.
Yeah.
Perfect. That it
And just
does
roll
make
it. And when you get to the tines, then kind of pull up so you're pulling it out of the tines and roll.
yes. Look at pretty that is.
It is pretty. It's beautiful.
Very nice. And the two of them together really do help. Uh,
It's way easier with two.
it is way easy.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to take another little paintbrush.
Do you have a toothpick or something really, really tiny so you don't bend your tines?
Right. I'm going. There's a little bit of.
I need to send you a porcupine quill.
Oh yeah.
That that works great. And I have several, so
Oh,
I can send you one.
what did Joe do with my tools that he borrowed last night? He said he brought them in here.
Tweezers? Do you have tweezers
I
handy?
have a real long 4 inch awl, and he used it last night to put my thing together. And he brought me my tools back in here, but I don't see it. That would have been perfect to use it. I don't see it there.
You can learn anytime, Janet.
Uh,
You can learn anytime. You can start with a drop spindle, very cheap. I even have a video on how to make your own, and it doesn't cost hardly anything. A dowel rod, a cup hook, and a toy wheel,
yeah.
and some glue.
Well, I've got a
Yeah,
skewer,
that'll work.
and I just want to get this out from under the that's
Yeah, perfect.
hanging on down here for dear life that I can get it out. That's it. That's what I use. This is good. This is
Yeah,
perfect.
it's doing great.
I've got several of these skewers. I was turning them into glue stoppers. We
Oh,
put
uh-huh.
beads on them.
Oh, that's smart.
These are turkey. They're the turkey sew up uh, spikes. You can order them in the food department, and they fit in your glue bottles.
Yeah,
Now
that's cool.
skewers, it's a skewer, and some of the meat skewers are thicker, but this one's a turkey one that you use to stick in your turkey to sew it up with
Right.
when you're stuffing it, and they're much thinner, and they fit in the glue top of the glue bottles.
Like in the tacky glue bottle or
Yes, uh huh.
uh-huh.
They're they're uh, they're thinner than the meat skewers. And when you buy skewers,
Right.
metal, you can buy metal skewers. And the now it's kind of bubbling up here. Is that should I try to draft it and
Yeah, I
pull it?
drafted a little bit. Now lift it up and draft it again. Okay, now stop and just kind of brush that stuff back so that yeah, and then roll it on up. Start your bucket list. Yeah. Well, Janet, I have several videos about how to start from the very beginning with a drop spindle in my spinning playlist on my channel. If you want to, you can look at those and it'll show you how to make a spindle just like that one she's got, because that's one of them.
They're just toy parts from the wood department
Yeah,
in Hobby Lobby.
and you don't have to use that. You can make your whirl from Sculpey clay.
Yeah.
You can make a whirl from anything that is round, and I mean, it doesn't even actually have to be round. I have a square one that I made steampunk, and it just needs to be have the hole directly in the center so it's balanced. But the toy wheels are easy because you just find a dowel the same side and put the dowel inside the wheel and glue it down, and then put your cup hook in, and you've got a spindle. Um, Basically, so they're really easy to make.
So I'm getting all these little tiny fibers off of here because you can still spin that.
Yeah.
You just stick them in there and they'll attach to something. So now I'm just going to keep going in a circle and rolling this down around and around and let the ends drag around. I made my first log.
Yay! Looky there. She's got a roll log.
So
And
and I tell you that Kellyanne, she likes to do all kinds of fun things. Um, she she does quilling, and I just bought a kit. It's a little suitcase, a little makeup box full of quilling supplies, everything I need to start quilling with. And I have another set of quilling items up at the top of my cupboard up here that came from my great aunt. She did quilling when she was younger a little bit, but she would do these art classes with her friends, and it's kind of like you go for the day like painting with a twist, and you go for the evening and they give you everything you need, and
yeah,
you and I think she just like did one little tiny project and that was it. But she still had the cork board and some of the papers and things. Of course, I don't have any of her tools, uh, but anyway, it's so funny. I saved them all these years, and now I'm going to try doing some quilling. But I think I'm going to wait till fall, really, to be realistic. It's not going to be this summer, that's for sure. I want to finish doing my pottery, and I'm looking at buying some new equipment for my pottery. And so this rod came out, and this dowel rod came from one of those calendars that you hang up every year, and you get the yearly calendars, and
Uh-huh.
that's what this dowel rod came from. Saved it, recycled it.
There you go.
So I'm just going to keep wrapping these ends around. And I could probably even take my felting needle and felt it just a touch, just to tack it down so it doesn't come open. That won't hurt a bit. Won't hurt it a bit. I'm using a felting needle. Oh, can you see me?
Yep.
And I'm not going to do any more than that, just enough to tack it down. And I might do the end. This might be a good end to start with. So I might uh, tack it down so it doesn't go all over, get snagged and pull out on me.
Yeah. You can kind of roll it across your blending board and that'll tack it down too.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And but it's
it's
just
it's kind of like having a whole bunch of little felting needles working for you all at
yes,
once.
yes, it does. And so there's my roll. All right,
Yay.
it's
Now you just take
beautiful.
whichever end looks like it's trying to pull out rather than in,
Yeah.
then that's where you
Mhm.
start. You just pull it
Yeah.
out a little bit and that's where you start.
Okay. So let me get my spinning wheel out and give her a whirl. I wonder if that's how that word came about.
Well, it
Give
would
her a
make sense.
whirl. So I'm goofy. That's why they like me. And I'm gonna
Well,
put this.
the round wheel on your drop spindle is called a whirl.
Yes, I know. That's why I
And
was
I guess
laughing.
your main wheel on your spinning wheel could be called a whirl too, except it's a wheel, so they call it a wheel.
Right.
But it does
Inter,
the same purpose as the whirl on your spindle.
interchangeable. Interchangeable words. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So here is my. So I will take off the yarn that I put on there the other day. It was already spun, or it was already drafted, and I only have one bobbin, so I can take this off and put it on one of the bobbins that I bought for storage, or roll it up in a ball.
Kelly Ann's gonna do some quilling this summer, she said.
And yeah, I was hoping to get some of my quilling out. See, this falls apart too. It comes apart, drafts apart in pieces. So it's just going to be a mess. But that's the only way I know how to pull it off of here. Now I guess this comes apart, and then you can pull it off by hand, the whole thing. Do you
You mean the
know?
bobbin?
Off the bobbin.
Well, you
Pull
need, when you've got yarn that you want to keep,
No, I'm not keeping this.
I know, but when you do,
Yeah,
then you just wind it off onto something else.
right. But
Yeah.
it's difficult to wind off with the whirl on. So we
Well,
could
it's easier if you take it off of the wheel and put it
right.
on a stand and then
Okay.
wind it off.
Okay. So you do that. You take it off, take this off to take it all apart. So I'm going to take it apart, and I'll show you how this works. There's this wheel here that I'm turning comes off of a wooden
Yeah.
screw, and it goes out to the other side, and there should be a oh, this one, and then this top screws down to tighten that there. So I unscrew this top to loosen the wooden screw, and it's yeah, it's attached, but the more I lower it, the more room I'm going to get to take it out, I think. But can you see that there's a wooden screw inside
Yeah.
here and this wooden screw? And I've not taken this apart before, so I can always watch the video if I need to put it back together. So I'm thinking that is loose enough to just to lean out. It's loose enough to lean out to undo to loosen my bobbin. And here's my bobbin, and there are my strings.
Yeah, you'll have to try to keep your strings from coming off your wheel if you can.
Yes. Well,
Um,
they come off. I think they come off, but I'm going to lay them right here and put a piece of tape on it so they. I
well,
know.
it's already come off your wheel, so it doesn't matter.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Well, if I don't fool with it too much more, it might
Yeah.
stay. It's staying. It's staying. So we'll figure that out in a minute. And then I want to get this off so that I can, or I can pull it off now. Okay. So now I have to put this in something to stand it up, and we're going to find something. We're going to. I have a Parmesan cheese container, and I wonder if it'll sit in there for me. It's too top heavy. Okay, that's not going to work. So let's find something else for it to poke in. Maybe it'll just sit in a whole stack of pens, ink pens, and it will. So here's what we're going to do. It's called Bethy Rig. I'm, rig- I'm rigging it. So let's see if I can show you where my I can get rid of this and this and this.
Hannah and I were watching Sleeping Beauty,
Oh yeah.
and she got so upset. She was like, couldn't they do a little research? Just a little research. And then they would know that that thing she pricked her finger on is not the spindle, that's the distaff.
The distaff.
And so they should have had her prick her finger on the other part that is the spindle. Anyway, but yes, Beth's spinning wheel does look like it came from a Sleeping Beauty fairy tale.
It's very cute.
It is
It's
cute. Yeah.
cute. Uh, anyway, I was trying to. It'll
You
stay
need
there.
Joe to come hold it.
Yeah, so he can hold it. I'm just gonna pull it all off by hand, and uh, I was going to be fancy and use my new bobbin. I got these bobbins at a little antique shop downtown,
Yeah.
and and I saw some more on the web. They were they were longer. They were bigger,
Yeah,
and they were
they make those things. I mean, anywhere from like 6 inches long to like
yeah, yeah,
18 inches long. I mean, they can be really big because those were the ones in the big industrial
yes, yes.
um,
Uh,
machines.
and I saw them on the internet for $5 a piece, and then I paid. I think I paid $4 for mine.
I'm trying to think where mine is. I have one of the shuttles, the weaving shuttles that those perns come out of, but I
Yeah.
don't remember. I think it's in my bench, which has like 50 pounds of paper on top of it, so I won't be getting it out for you. Um, but those things had the yarn wound on them, and then they would go in the shuttle, and the yarn would come off and come out of the shuttle, and you would just throw that shuttle back and forth across what you're weaving. Um, and those were the big ones where they would have a handle that they would yank and it would shoot that shuttle across. Then they'd
Yeah.
pull a handle on the other side and they would shoot it back across to weave really big pieces of fabric, like for blankets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching, that Facebook marketplace is dangerous.
Yes.
And I was watching, and somebody not too far from me, it would have been a drive, like an hour drive for me to go and get it. But she had this little tiny weaving loom that was desktop that would fit right here, and
Uh
it was
huh.
and it was just the right size for me. But it was a weaving. It was for weaving, and it's like I can't buy one more thing right now. I've been
Yeah.
and but it was like she wanted like $125 for it, but it was like a almost $300 weaving machine. It was so expensive. It would have been such a good buy, and I would have loved it. I would have loved to have it, but I haven't seen it for a while, so I'm pretty sure it's sold.
I'm sure it
And
did. For
um,
$100, I'm sure it sold.
and I almost had all of my pottery tools. I had a table and a clay extruder. It was all for $300, where the clay extruders are $300 themselves, and
Yeah.
the tables are worth 600 and more, or up thousands of dollars. And I'm thinking, oh man. And I thought I was the first one to get in, and I said, is it still available? And she said yes. But so between me and that time, somebody else comes and says, I'll take it. I would have said I take it too. So whenever I say whenever you push, is it still available? You need to say I'll take it, so you'll be first.
Yes. You need to say, if it's still available, I want it.
Exactly. And I told her, I said, oh, please let me know because she said, he's not coming till the weekend. And I said, oh, I've got cash in hand right now. I started to say, offer more money. And I thought, now that wouldn't be a very nice thing to do. So I didn't. But if I was an evil conniving person,
Hi,
I would have said,
Brittany.
I'll give you 400. And because it was worth every bit of $1,000,
Yeah.
all that stuff together. And she didn't know what it had. She says, and all these pipes on the floor go with it. And that was the clay extruder that was over $300.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my heart sunk. I said, oh, I am so sad. Oh man. I said, let me know if he doesn't pull through. I will take it if he doesn't pull through. But I would have had to drive 2.5 hours to go get it.
It would have been worth it, though, for that
It
price.
would have. It would have. So that's when I gave Joe the lecture that I need better tools. So I'm
Especially
like,
since it's something that you love and you'll use.
I know it. I know it. I need to just be more patient and maybe continue to look for another one. Be patient. Be patient. But yeah. So I'm going to put
Don't
this.
forget to put your oh, you did already. Never mind. Say you need both of your strings over the top of that
Okay.
before you put it in.
Yes, I do. Come on. And if
Because
I'm
I
lucky,
put one all together and then realized I had to take it back apart because I
yeah.
didn't have my string over it. So
Right. And
that's
it is still in the right grooves. All of them are in the right grooves. Now, how lucky am I to have that?
you did good. Well, the way yours tensions and pulls up
Uh huh.
helps that
It,
ability.
it does. But they didn't fall off the wheel,
Yeah.
and the twist is and I'm assuming the twist is where it's supposed to be on the string on the wheel. I guess it doesn't matter where it crisscrosses back here. Putting it back together. That's just Joe. They only bark at Joe. They don't bark at the mailman or the UPS guy or any delivery people. They don't bark at them. or the neighbors. They don't bark. They don't bark at the neighbors coming. They only
Well,
bark at
Joe's
Joe
special.
coming in. It just freaks
Ah,
me out. Now I've got another piece over here, and it'll tighten it this direction. And I really do think that my tension is not where it should be when I spin. I think part of my problem is my tension about getting enough spin on
yeah.
my thread. I really think that is the
You
problem.
want the least amount of tension that will still pull on,
Yeah.
because you don't want it pulling so much it yanks it out of your hand, because then you don't ever get any twisted built up in it.
Uh huh. All right. But I don't know. I just have to practice. Have to get it on the down spot. Okay. What's the issue? It seems to be working. It seems to be working.
All righty.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm having trouble with my rhythm, but that's okay.
Once you get it, Beth,
Yes,
then it'll be there forever. But
it
it
is.
just sometimes it takes a bit for your feet to coordinate to get that. And different spinning wheels are
Mhm.
are harder to do. Um, and these old ones tend to be more picky, because they were usually made by hand by one person, and not
Yeah.
you
I
know
don't. I have no clue who made this. There is nothing, no writing anywhere on here. And you would think there would be something. So if there was, it was just a tag and it's been torn off.
yeah.
There is no. There is
Well, my
no.
spinning wheel doesn't have anything written on it either. If
Okay.
the person I bought it from hadn't told me, where it came from, I wouldn't have known.
Right.
And even that information, I couldn't find any information on that company
Right.
that she said made it. So
Yeah. And
even
she
knowing
told.
that, it didn't really do me any good as far as getting information.
Yes. Well, when
But
she told me it was a castle, I thought that was the name brand, but that's the style. It's the
that's the
style.
style. Yeah.
It's the style. And so I thought that was the name, and I thought I'd be able to look it up, and but no go. So it might be too tight.
Okay, Chris, we'll be here.
And I love this thing, but it's so loose. I'm going to have Joe take this and put a washer so that it doesn't rock so much on my stack. And this is you put yarn on this. You put your big ball of wool up here and spin from it.
And I will tell you, Beth, wrapping a bat around that distaff will be a whole lot easier to spin from than your top.
Okay.
And
Uh,
there are videos, and I think Jillian Eve has one
yes.
showing you how to wrap a distaff.
Yes.
But a bat works much better than our modern top. And the reason top is the way it is because people don't usually use distaffs anymore. So,
Now I'm working it.
all right. Yay.
It's a rocking. I'm rocking my knee. I'm rocking it like a rocking chair.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that. motion.
and and she told me, she says, well, it's got a few puppy bite marks on it, and there are some little bite marks on the bottom down here where there was, somebody was teething. And I said, okay, I won't mind. I won't mind. It won't bother me.
I've almost spun that bit that I had.
Did you get it all done?
Almost. Well, no,
Oh,
I've still got three more pieces to spin, but the one that I had, no, two more. The one that I was spinning, though, I've almost finished it.
okay.
Because I wanted the changes to be more often, I split this from a big top to thinner tops. And
Okay, where's my co-wag? My little waggy waggy. So here we go. And I'm going to try to do it from a well. I got to be close enough to hit that with my foot, so I can't be too far away. I got to get the foot going.
well, if you can sit with your back straight
Yes, I'll lean
and your
back.
foot on the pedal,
Yes,
that'll pull you back a little bit if you
yeah.
sit back with your back straight up against the back of your chair, and then that'll pull you back from the orifice a little bit.
And um, I might, because when I first start spinning to get the rhythm, by that time I got the rhythm going. My my starter thread is already on there, and I haven't got it started from the from the wool yet. And I might make this a little longer so that I can get the rhythm going, and then I can start. I'd have
Yeah,
time to
you could
start.
do that.
And uh, what I'm going to do too is put just one little knot. It won't hurt a thing. It'll go through the hole, and then in the middle of these two I'll start my tail, my drafting tail. So I'm excited to be able to do this, but I can tell you right now that's going to pull right off. So I'll get a little bit more, and I'm not going to worry about the very first part of it. I've got it looped in there,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to worry about how thin it is. I'm
Yeah,
just
just
going
hold it. Don't twist it because you might be twisting it backwards. Just let
right,
it twist
right.
as you start, your spinning wheel. And hold on to your stuff. Don't let it. Never mind.
Now you see, it's feeding in there and it's taking it too fast.
It's
So
taking it too fast. Yeah. You need to hold on if you can hold on to your leader out here and let it spin a little bit and let you get started, the spin going up
that's
into
what
your
I'm saying.
fiber before
That's
you
what
let it go on.
well,
That will help. But if it's pulling so hard it pulls it out of your hand and you don't have a choice, then you've got then it's I
well,
think it's too much
I
tension.
let it go too. I was letting it go. I wasn't trying
Yeah.
to. Yes, it did pull out of my hands. And you think it's too tight or the
I
tension?
think that's too much tension.
All right. And I've watched a video and didn't realize it just until like a couple weeks ago, that tension, there's a tension on this, and there's a way to loosen it up to make it work. And it's interesting, all the little things you got to think about.
Yeah, it's a real machine. It has to, it has all its parts that have to work together.
Yeah, yep, yep. And of course, once you learn it, you'll never forget it. Like you said, once you get going,
Yeah.
it'll be easy.
Okay. I think I'm going to stop here with this one. And even I know there's a video on this one. And I'm just gonna spin it willy nilly now since I've got that video done. Um, but
And
I want to spin something different.
I've got
That's why
this
I like to
under,
have several things going at once when I'm spinning,
yeah, and I've got
and
this
that's
like
why I like a bunch of bobbins.
I've got this under my arm, you know, sort of
Yeah,
tucked into my wing here, and then
that
it's
works.
and then I have it right here to pull. But that's what I was saying. If I had this lead wire a little longer, uh, and I can see which way it's spinning, so and I'm going to try to draft because I take a draft. Of course, I guess I could draft a little bit more. Get
Yeah,
it
I would draft a little bit more so you could actually get going.
because I'm just getting coordinated. It's really more coordination than anything.
Yeah, it definitely takes some. See, this is where the tension is on my wheel. It's on the bobbin.
Okay. Oh my gosh! Look at this twist. I'm holding
Yeah,
it
good. Now start letting it go in a little bit as the twist moves up.
right. Now it's going to be thick. This yarn's
That's
going to be
fine.
thick.
That's fine. That
Well,
the first one will be thick and thin and it'll be all kinds of weird. That's okay.
that's what that's my party yarn. It's doing it. See, I was just letting it take it naturally. I was letting it take,
Yeah.
and I now I know I can hold it and not let it go. So now I'm trying to draft, and it's not drafting. It's got a big old wad here.
Okay, hold your finger and then move your hand up there. Yeah. Kind of untwist your yeah, and then pull so you can thin it
Pull
out
this
a little bit.
part.
Whoops. That's all right. Just join it back.
It's almost
Making joins is one of the first things you have to learn because it
yeah,
breaks all the time.
yes,
So that's
and
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 as you get better at it, it breaks less. But by then you've learned
this yarn's going to be real thick.
that's okay. Let it be thick. It's better to have a thick yarn and even a yarn that you never use for anything except to remind yourself how far you've come.
Exactly. And see, I can still use this yarn in my art, binding books and
Yeah,
tassels,
yeah.
and
You
it's
making
not going.
tag toppers with it.
Yeah, flags and all kinds of ephemera.
This is rolled up kind of like what Beth's doing, except it's rolled the opposite direction. It's rolled with the fibers going this direction instead of going this direction. And that's just because that was one of the ways I was showing y'all how to spin it in that video. So,
I don't think I need rope. I want yarn.
well, um, yeah, you're going to need to do a lot of pre-drafting.
Yes, because it's coming off like a rope,
Right.
and
If you
but
can put a clip or
but
something
it went
right there
around.
where it's skinnier, right there. Yeah, put
Yes,
a clip right
yes,
there to keep that twist in and then work on you're going to have to untwist all the rest of it in order to get it to draft.
exactly. You're a good idea.
Oh, thank you, Janet. That is easy to do. Um, even this kind is not as easy to do even, and what Beth is doing is not easy to do even. And so you can see I got a big spot there, and that's okay. This is a a textured yarn, and I'm just going to let it be textured. That's one of the reasons you spin from a bats is because you want more texture in it. Now, if you blend it really blend it up well, you can get a more even yarn. But I don't have it blended that well because we were wanting color. You know, we weren't wanting a blended bat at this point.
Yeah, we want to see some of the texture too. Yeah. Let's see. Almost split it.
This is a much going to be a much thicker yarn than what I was spinning in that blue green. And that was overspinning, which is a problem I've had with this bat, that I haven't had things overspin in a long time until I was doing this. So
But you make it look so easy with your just piddling and pushing with your fingers. That's my goal. But I have a few years to catch up,
yeah, yeah.
and now that I got the foot action going pretty good. I think I can see what else I can do. But I want to be able to learn how to do my tails real good too. To connect my tails. All right. Let's try it again.
What worked the best for me when I was trying to learn was to take something and go ahead and pre-draft it and into a bowl, into one long, really long pre-drafted piece, and put the bowl at my feet. Well, not beside me, but at my feet, and then just pull it out of that bowl as I was, trying to put it on there.
Yes.
Um, the if you have a lot of it pre-drafted into one long piece, then you can concentrate on spinning instead of trying to concentrate on
Exactly. Exactly.
drafting.
I, I did that real good, and it was pre-drafted, little bits.
Well, pre-drafting is your friend when you're starting. It can be your friend in some fibers, even if you've been spinning a long time. So
And I just learned something today about, and I've heard this, through the teachings, but I'd never applied it. But today I applied it. And you hold it with this hand, your right hand, let it spin, hold it, don't let it take it, and then you draft a little bit, and then you release and let the spin roll up to your left hand, and then it'll spin the yarn. That's what's called spinning. And yeah, it
yeah,
and
you
it'll
don't want to let the the twist get between your hands.
and then you draft more.
And if you're holding this like back here and you're not paying attention, your twist can get caught up in this, and then you got this.
Exactly. I know what you mean.
And that is no fun to undo. So
I know what you mean. Okay, here we go. Doing it. I'm doing it. And it is coordination with your feet. You have to have, uh, and I might just have Joe do my spinning, do my foot for me, and let me learn how to do the spinning part. That might be a an option.
you could also practice drafting on your spindle and then come back, you
Yes,
know. I know I went back and forth between the wheel and the spindle a bunch of times before either one of them became easy.
yeah.
And then they both became easy about the same time.
And I don't know if I could remember how to even to do the spindle.
Hi, Barbara. She disappeared because she had a video call. Now she's getting some lunch, so she's going to be in the balcony. Well, that works.
Okay, have some lunch.
You okay?
Yep, I'm getting there.
All
I'm
righty.
playing with my drop spindle. Gotta get this tail going here. I don't know if I can remember how to do it.
Well, you do the park and draft method, which is kind of like you were talking about on the spinning wheel, which is what made me think about going back to the spindle. Um,
I'm trying to remember how the spindle got. Did do I twist the spindle and drop it?
yeah,
I can't remember.
you twist the spindle, and as it spins, you let it build up twist, and then you park it, and then you draft.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I usually park it between my knees unless it gets long, and then I park it between my feet. But tell you, this coral in here, I got a bunch of really unhappy fibers, not wanting to play well with others, and um, it's all right. I mean, we're keeping on going, but it's funny how some of them get to they're like, nope, I'm not going to let you move over to something else. You're going to have to spin me for a while. Because usually, a lot of times, you can move back and forth between colors pretty easy. But
Yeah,
this one's been a little more difficult.
that coral with that blue on the bobbin looks so pretty.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's see. Let's go ahead and go here a little bit.
So now we're going to be quiet. uh, that's all right. We're doing good.
See, it went right back to that coral. That coral's like, I am the boss. I want to be spun.
So how is Ethan doing?
I think he's doing pretty good.
Is he still in his apartment?
No, he moved back here
Oh,
last
okay.
before winter last year.
Oh,
Um, the the job he found, he didn't have reliable transportation, and he had to walk home a few times, and it was two and a
oh,
half miles at a pretty steep incline up a hill to get to his apartment. And he was like, I can't do this in the winter with a lot of rain and snow and stuff. And they get real winter up there in Indiana. So, um,
well,
you wouldn't have to
didn't he
worry
have
about snow here, but a
a
few times a
bicycle?
year, but they get a lot more of it. So,
He didn't have a bicycle?
no, but you couldn't ride a bicycle uphill in the snow anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't.
No.
Um,
Down
anyway,
here,
he
kids ride scooters. They ride scooters.
yeah.
But
Anyway, he came back here and he's helping my stepfather get the apartment behind my mom's house fixed, and he's going to
ooh.
move out there. So,
Oh, yeah.
but right now they're just still doing work on it.
And that well great. That's perfect.
It is. It'll be great because he'll have privacy, but he's still here where it'll be easy for me to take him to work when he finds a job. So,
Right, right, of course.
but he's not really looking for a job until they get that
Everything that I
done.
just did on this came off. It fell
Oh
off.
no.
Well, that's okay. I'm glad that we got to make my coag. We've been on for a couple hours, so I think I'm going to quit. And I got the
Alrighty.
rhythm down, and I did do this much yarn,
There you go. See?
and I'm happy with that a little
You
bit.
need to
And
just sit in your recliner and pre-draft that rolag into one long piece
yes, I
and
will.
then spin it.
And I know it's going to be rough looking, and that's fine. So, Lisa, thank you for coming on with me this afternoon. I will be back again about 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be back on for
Oh, well,
tonight's.
you definitely need to go rest, don't you?
Yeah, and I slept in. I slept in today, so I'm good. And but I'll go get me something to eat now, and see what else I can maybe get into.
Alrighty.
So thank you, Lisa, and I'll see everybody tonight if y'all want to come in. So
Bye
goodbye.
bye.